So we're good. Hello and welcome to an AVForums short video overview of the Bowers Wilkins Px8 S2 and how it compares to the recently launched Px7 S3. My name is Ed Selley, I'm the Hi-Fi editor for AVForums. What have we got then? We have got the latest wireless headphone and flagship from Bowers and Wilkins. Like the Px7 S3, Bowers is now seemingly happy with Px8 to denote the flagship. So this is the second iteration, S2, of the flagship. Now, what Bowers has done here is the same as last time. And in the context of headphones, and indeed a lot of portable audio, and indeed a lot of audio, it's quite interesting. This and the Px7 S3, which is still here, have exactly the same specifications when it comes to their noise cancelling, when it comes to their decoding, when it comes to their suite of functionality. They do the same amount of stuff. They differ only in their audio hardware and their finish. If you're looking for the big one to do more, it doesn't work that way. It's not going to happen. So, to refresh ourselves on what it does, and I do remind you that there is a complete video for the Px7 S3 where we go into this in greater detail and make some comments about the original Px8 as well, if you wanted some context for that. This is built around the Qualcomm aptX suite of Bluetooth. There's no LDAC, but you get aptX up to 2496. Your friendly reminder that the bitrate for that does not actually encompass an entire 2496 file, but it will have a reasonable stab at doing one with acceptable boundaries of lossless compression. AAC is fitted for Apple people because Bowers knows that there's a fairly significant part of the market to be had there. 40mm dynamic drivers which are arranged in the earpiece at an angle. This is something that Bowers has been doing for some time. It looks a bit weird, although it looks nowhere near as weird as it used to look, but it works extremely well. You can also use them as a USB DAC. You can send up to 24192 over USB. This gives you the advantage that you can listen and charge at the same time. So you could go wirelessly to work on wires there, or something similar. Battery life is good, but not outstanding at 35 hours. I would say that that is a genuinely real world figure. It's achievable. You don't have to sit there with the volume control just above 0 for it to function and do that sort of thing. I think 35 hours is a believable sort of use case scenario for it. They are controlled by the same music app, which has the same bugbears for both headphones. I like the fact that it's quite well laid out. There's some EQ functionality, which is new for this generation, which is good if not truly extensive. It allows you to just tweak some of the finer points of the output. I don't like the fact that it requires a login and password. If you cycle through headphones, now this is probably a reviewer thing to sort of talk about, and most sane people just have a pair of headphones. But if for whatever reason you change your platform, it will ask you for your password. You probably would have forgotten your password. It will require you to reset. It's just annoying enough to take the sheen off, but it's well laid out, and if you do have other Bowers and Wilkins devices, it ties everything together into a cohesive sort of single point of control. It's also worth pointing out that once you have paired them, generally speaking, you don't need to do very much. The noise cancelling works on an adaptive basis and can also be switched off. It can dynamically respond to noises, and it's pretty good. It's been pretty good now for the best part of 10 years. The original PX that came out represented a bit of a step change in what Bowers and Wilkins does, and yeah, it's been good since then. It's not as good as the Sony XM6, which we've also looked at. If you absolutely need to keep the world at bay, that's still your best bet. I haven't tested anything with better noise cancelling than the Sony. Also worth noting that some other parts of the design haven't changed as well. The case, I don't know which of the cases I'm holding up at this point because they are absolutely identical. That's perfectly reasonable. This is not the most exciting case I've ever seen, but it's not that large. It's easy to fit the headphones in, and it affords them a bit of protection. It ain't broke, so Bowers and Wilkins has spent precisely £0 trying to fix it. What has changed? So if you look at these side by side, it's the same basic design. However, where you've got plastic here, you've got aluminium here, and it's aluminium with a cutout that shows the cable. Now I thought this was going to be a bit of a gimmick because it was done on some of the older headphones and it looked all right. It looks really smart here. Bowers seems to feel that there's no adverse effect on the actual lifespan and longevity of the cable, so it's not going to make an issue there. It does look quite smart. The reason for switching to metal is that it makes the whole assembly more rigid, keeps the enclosure on the side of your head better. Now I'm at pains to stress that I didn't listen to these thinking, crikey Moses, they're wobbly. But this does feel a bit more substantial, both in the hand and on the head. In the subject of on the head, these pads and the headband are now made out of actual leather from an animal that romped around in the sunlight and now, for better or worse, is not. There is no animal-free version of the Px8, and if that matters to you, you'll need to make your feelings known to Bowers and Wilkins. It's perfectly within their remit to make one of the inevitable limited editions of these animal-free and give you an option at buying the flagship. However, the Px7 S3 is completely animal-free, so if that is of a concern to you, they haven't left you completely high and dry. Like the S3, the Px8 S2 has changeable pads and the insert for the headband, but, and I do have to find myself agreeing with this, leather tends to be quite hard wearing compared to some of the synthetic ones, so it's likely that you'll get more life out of these before you need to change them. So, we've got two pairs of headphones. The spec is the same. There's some detail changes. Why are you paying that bit more? Well, as well as the bits that you can see is one that you can't. They both use 40mm dynamic drivers, but in here they're biocellulose, which is broadly speaking a fancy term for paper. In here they're carbon. They're lighter and stiffer and can be pushed harder, and thanks to revisions to the surround and the mountings, they can be pushed harder in the S2 than they can in the original. This is where the money has gone, and at every increment I've tested these two headphones, be it Spotify via AAC Bluetooth and an iPhone, all the way through to firing high-res at them through USB, over Cobuzz via Roon, whatever, the 8 has outperformed the 7 S3. And this is important for two reasons. One, the 7 S3 was closing the gap on the original Px8 to the point where on occasions there was nothing in it. Also, when we take the 7 S2 and the Px8 needed a better signal to show what it could do, to truly open up an advantage over the more affordable headphone. Now, this is better in all conditions. What this means, and I'm going to say something relatively bold here, is that as far as I'm concerned, pound for pound, this is the best headphone, wireless headphone I should say, currently available under £1,000. And with that comes the proviso that, as we've already mentioned, the Sony has better noise cancelling. Focal with the Bathys MG, I really like their auto setup procedure. I think they have a better app, and there are some aspects of the Bathys' design which feel a bit more special than this, although it is larger and more ungainly. So you take your money, you pay your choice, or the other way around. However, just when it comes to using it day to day across all the things you could ask a headphone to do, I've not found these wanting once. There's still some unknowns. Spatial audio is promised for both of these models and it has yet to materialise. So we can't test that. We don't know how it will be. JBL is still my preferred go-to for that. We will see how now their new stablemates in Bowers Wilkins do their implementation of spatial audio. And I do wish that the app was ever so slightly less intrusive, although compared to Sony's app, it's positively light touch. What it means is that if it were my money, and it isn't, these justify their existence. But the really good news is that the same basic competence, the same basic feature set, the same basic satisfaction of ownership can be had from the Px7 S3 as well. What Bowers has done is delivered you everything they think a wireless headphone should be, and then made one where The ingredients are just souped up. What has resulted is an absolutely sensational headphone. Now, there is a written review on the site. Please do feel free to read it. I still think I get certain things across better in words than I do flailing desperately at the camera. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you've enjoyed this. There will be more content because I'm going to be recording some straight after I've recorded this. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Goodbye.